Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. My name is William Michael Forbes. I'm a spiritual medium, a channel, and an intuitive life coach. And I want to welcome you to Supernatural Saturday. And I apologize because I didn't get the description properly edited, but today is essentially about organizing your world with energy. And what is energy? It's going to be a very fascinating discussion we're going to have today. I'm just going to wait for a few minutes for people to come on, and I'm going to make a slight adjustment to this description while we're on the fly here. Um, okay. Control A, Control C. There we go. Hello, Drusilla. Hello, Louise, and welcome. So today it's going to be organizing your world with energy, and I'm really excited about it. I've got a range of different beings here. Well, of course, we'll do our Q&A, but we're really going to focus on this because this is really, really crucial at this time in the ascension process of the human collective consciousness and collective unconsciousness, is understanding energy. A lot of people, when they hear the word energy, will think of gasoline or fuel oil or solar energy or light from the sun or heat. A lot of people don't understand that energy in its most fundamental state is emotional. And my guardian angel John 8 months ago told me, when we started the 1 billion strong group, that it was important people began to understand that emotion is the fifth state of energy. And emotion is energy when it's been set in motion. That emotion organizes matter. And from the perspective of a finite position in a physical body, you would think that the rain and the clouds are bigger and more potent than you, but the consciousness, he says, when you begin to understand that the consciousness that organizes matter uses emotional energy. So the consciousness that you call you right now, whether it's Drusilla or Louise or Prem, whatever name you decide you think you go by, there's a consciousness that this little mechanism is William. This is a William consciousness. But there's another consciousness that you are that is beyond what you've been conditioned to think you're supposed to be. And that aspect of consciousness incorporates in its awareness the body that you have. It incorporates into its awareness the consciousness of the planet, the consciousness of a solar system, the consciousness of a galaxy. The consciousness and the awareness that directs it are one and the same thing. The difference is one uses energy to manifest conditions just as we do. We can manifest with emotions, changes in our physiology, changes in our creative energy, changes in our state. We use emotional energy to do that. This is really important because if you want to start shifting and changing the quality of your life, you need to learn how to shift and change the quality of your emotions. And this is fundamental for humanity as a whole to be able to move forward intelligently and reasonably, that it is our emotions that are creating the conditions that we see around us, whether it is health or disease. Each of those states, health and disease, have emotional elements that direct them to function in those ways. Most disease is a result of an emotion called fear. Most health is a result of an emotion called love or joy. So again, we're going to focus on what that is today, on how to begin to organize your world with emotions. And how do you generate an emotion? How do you create emotion? A lot of people on this planet believe that they are subjective to the emotions they have, that the emotions are just something they have and they have to just live with them. And one day they're up, one day they're down, one day is good, one day is bad, and they follow the cycle of emotions that they've been conditioned to follow by their programming and conditioning through the 5 physical senses of the environment. And as long as you believe that the emotions you have inside you are not who you are, that there's something that you have no control or power over you, then that's exactly what your experience will be. You'll feel helpless, you feel uncontrolled, you'll have to find something to stop those feelings chemically, because emotions are chemical, right? And anyway, John said it's important that you understand that emotion is energy that you set in motion. The minute you think a thought, that thought, depending on the nature and quality of that thought, will cause certain formations of energy. You might call it joy, you might call it fear, or guilt, or shame, or happiness, or bliss, or playfulness. Whatever thought you generate will generate a corresponding emotion, and that corresponding emotion begins to organize your world to being what it is for you as it is now and as it will be in the future, if there is such a thing. The first steps in learning how to organize your emotion is to first recognize that the emotions are merely an energy within your system. And some of you have great energy. Some of you are very powerful creators and have emotions that are extremely strong, a strong flow of energy from source. And sometimes that source of energy can seem to be overwhelming to you. But we have to say to you that it's important you understand that you are able to alter and direct and learn to manage the flow of that energy into a creative funnel, into a process where you are able to deliberately and intentionally organize matter in the form of experiences. So for those of you that are being overwhelmed by emotion, it is a matter of you may be like a child trying to hold a fireman's hose. You cannot do it. So you will need practice. And with practice, you will be able to do it. But emotion is merely the energy coming into your system from creative source, from an unlimited creative source. And your ability to deliberately and intentionally alter that emotional energy is the beginning of your liberation from the subjectivity to this world and what it is conditioned you believe is right and wrong and good and bad. You must overcome your subjectivity to emotion when you are supposed to be directing it. You're supposed to be manifesting the conditions of your life consciously with it, whereas many of you are manifesting the conditions of your life unconsciously with it. But it is still the same energy, and you can control it and change it and direct it. We have said to you many times, you could simply breathe your body. You could simply breathe your body very slowly and deeply and rhythmically, and any emotion you have will begin to align to that, for you're asserting your divine right over this temple. Very fascinating. So we organize our world with our emotions, right? Not as individually, but as a collective species. John is saying, what we find really funny is that so many of you think that you are powerless when what you are actually aware of is the very power that you are. You are essentially afraid of your own power because you have not been shown how to use it properly. Yes, he's showing me an example of somebody who's never driven a car, and you put them behind the wheel of a car and then tell them to drive the car without any experience. It can be very scary and frightening and unnerving. Well, emotional energy, he says, is just like that. It can be very intense, but it's still manageable once you have a process in place for learning to articulate the energy differently. So, yeah, he says the first thing is you want to learn to breathe slowly, deeply, deliberately, and then train your body to not react to the emotional energy that's coming into it. You've got to train it to be receptive to it, but not reactive to it. When I used to be like manic depressive many years ago, and I took medical pharmaceutical drugs to try and control that. At that time, I really believed that I needed these things to control those emotions. And when I began to understand that I could actually change my thoughts, that was the first step for me. When I realized just by learning to control my thoughts first and foremost and changing them, I began to experience changes in the emotional flow. And it was a process that took me without the kind of guidance and support that they give me now. It took me several years to get to the place where my emotions became my servant and not my master, where my thoughts were tools for sculpting and shaping that emotional energy. And the process of getting away from the crutches of external means of trying to control how I feel, because that's what most of us believe. The outside world is causing us to feel this way. And from one perspective, it appears that is true, but it is not. Once you begin to change emotionally and mentally what's going on, the world around you changes. Yes, he wants me to say to you guys, your outside world, and we will say this many times to you, your outside world, as it appears to be to you now, is an exact representation of what is going on inside of you individually in thought and in emotion, and also what is going on in thought and emotion with your species collectively. When you begin to understand this on an individual scale and begin to apply this process, you will begin to alter and change the course of humanity. Even a small number of you can do this. Mhm. Fascinating. Wow. Let's get into some questions and answers. This was an amazing, amazing. Organizing our experiences starts with how we organize and work with our emotional energy. Doesn't that sound really nice? That if you can change what you feel, you change what is occurring in your world around you. And I can say, based on the last couple of years especially, that when we alter what we're feeling in the moment, or we stay in a certain state, circumstances organize itself around us. But if we don't know that, then we believe that circumstances are something that are happening to us. And I again, last about a year and a half ago, almost 2 years ago now, my angel said, we're going to start training you to stay in a state of love and grace, because it's important you learn to remain in that vibration as frequently as you can. So we can be in harmony and resonance with you and put through our messages, and two, so that you can demonstrate to others that they no longer have to be subjective. And I said, okay, that's great. I'd love to learn how to do that. They said, so they allowed me to access the vibration of love, and I went outside to a Starbucks out in front of the building that we live in. I had a cup of tea down there. So I'm sitting there having my cup of tea, just sitting in this vibration of love and feeling the connectivity between all things around me. And all of a sudden I hear this voice screaming and yelling, and a man comes running onto the patio, and he picks up a chair right in front of me, and he's screaming how he hates certain people. And he picks up his chair and he raises it over my head like this. And without thinking, I'm just feeling. I look up and our eyes connect for a moment, and I'm feeling this vibration of love. And that's all I'm feeling as I connect to his eyes. And all of a sudden, he just looks at me and he kind of shakes his head, throws the chair down, and runs off. And then afterwards, they said, do you see what we mean? You maintained a certain emotional quality. It cannot, fear cannot transform an energy that's greater than itself. In other words, the emotion of fear that he was in, which was anger and rage, the vibrational state of love that I was in transmuted or transformed his vibrational state of anger and fear, which was causing him to scream and yell and raise the chair and be threatening. And since then, I've gotten other examples. We use like the glass of water. You put this glass of water in a freezer. It doesn't have any choice. The very nature of the vibration in the freezer will freeze this, as if I put this water on a stove and I turn that stove up, the water boils off, right? The water has no choice. The vibration acting upon it changes it. And matter is like that. Whatever your emotional state is, they say matter is like that. That when you are in a certain emotional state consistently, it is organizing your experiencing. That's why some people experience life getting better and better, because they feel better and better, and they notice things are happening really well around them, and like that, and things get better. Whereas some people think, oh, what a terrible day. Why can't things get better than they are? Why is it getting worse? And things get worse for them. The fundamental understanding for us as individuals and as a species collectively, because we are one species called humanity with different branches coming off of the tree of humanity. And this is universal. It doesn't matter what your religious faith is, what your political values are, what your social status is. Your emotions are organizing the conditions in your world at this moment. And your ability to manage and master your emotions alters and organizes matter, just like your thought can organize the matter in this hand to open and close. Just like the excitement of vibration of excitement will organize this body and be excited, or the organization of emotional energy in the form of sadness will cause this body to be sad. Your emotions are organizing your material world at all times. The difficulty some of you have is in consistently staying in an emotional state long enough that you can see the fruit of that energy taking place. It's like putting the glass of water in the freezer, waiting 2 minutes and taking it out, hoping it to be frozen. You didn't give it enough time. You didn't give it enough energy. And this is true for any condition in your life. And I would encourage you to follow that. Thank you, John. I appreciate that. Let's see what we got. Hi, Drusilla, Marigold. Hi, Bo. I need to change the name on this video. I think I did. Thank you so much. Bo, could you just let me know, is that reflected? I believe I did make the change. Let's see, Lysandra, good morning. Hi, Joe. Hi, Terry. where focus goes, energy flows. And where emotion goes, energy and matter organizes. Wherever you put your emotional energy, that's going to organize matter for you at any point of time and space, right? And it's important to understand. Oh, I want to thank also our new Patreon supporters last night who joined us. I want to thank you very much for your support on my Patreon page. I really appreciate that. It means a lot. And you also get to benefit with, on my Patreon page, we do a once a month live private event for Patreons only, which is really exciting on the 7th day at 7 p.m. every month. So that's really exciting. We also do a monthly draw for patron supporters to get a free reading with me, which is a value of $111 US. And then there's you get to ask a question once a month, and you get your question answered. You can ask your guides or angels, and we'll bring the information through to you. And the question can be about anything in your life, and you get to ask one of those questions a month as a Patreon supporter. Very exciting. Hi, Manoj. Louise is asking, I would like to know if my greater consciousness has another name, even if not really relevant. I think it would help me to know as a bridge to connect and reorganize my energy. They're giggling because of the need. They're telling me right now she needs to know a name because the name will contain a vibration that she will comprehend and understand. What name would that be? That would be the vibration that she would understand and comprehend. Okay, they're just tapping into your guides and your angels right now. Wow, that's an interesting word. The word they're giving me is a word I've heard before, and I've never heard them apply this to anybody's higher self, but the name ephemeral. The name is ephemeral. And it's yeah, I'm not sure of the spelling. EFFEMERALL. You might want to write that down. EFFER. EFF. Yeah. Well, anyway, but I don't remember it. Go back to that and write that down. Ephemeral. The last word, three letters, ALL. All. EFFERMALL. Ephemeral. Interesting. Yes, they're saying you can use that. If you speak the name slowly, you'll connect to the vibration of that higher self, of yourself. Because they're saying you're really not separate from it. You must understand this. But this vibration will help remind you and align your body and your mind to this frequency of your being. Wonderful. Thank you. Manoj, hi Tina. Hi, Patricia. Manoj, a question. I have requested Jesus to awaken my Kundalini many times in the past, but nothing is happening. Please ask him why, and what can I do on a daily basis to hasten this process? The first words out of his mouth were, stop rushing. Stop trying to get there so quickly, because there is here. It is not there. You keep looking and anticipating, but you must be where you are right now, dear one. You must be here. Be now. If I placed my hand upon your head at this moment, and you could feel the slight fire, that little tingle at the base of your spine, and you gave that all of your attention, you could begin to feel that which you requested. It's always there. You just need to become aware of it. All of what any of you could ever desire is always here and now. It is not then or there. It is here and now. Please understand this. You can save yourself a considerable amount of time and increase the experience of joy in your life much more rapidly. Thank you. Great question, Manoj. Again, one of the things I love about your questions, guys, is the questions are not just for you. There are beings out here, and there are multidimensional beings around us everywhere. Like, there are beings all around us. We just get so attached to our physical and perceptual mechanisms of the 5 physical senses that many of us get stuck just trying to process reality specifically from a physical medium. And yet the reality of who you are not a physical medium. You express through a physical medium, but you are not a physical medium. This aspect of you is a physical medium. It's an animal body that you are inhabiting and expressing energy through while you are in this physical dimension. That's all it is. It's just an animal body. So you want to really get in the place where you're being in the present moment and allowing things to flow through a little differently than what you normally would. And the other fascinating thing I find, if I try to think about what they're saying through me, the minute I do that, it breaks the flow. There's a process with your guides and angels that are around you right now that you can sense or feel their presence. Like you can actually sense them. You might feel them as heat or as sensation or as pressure. But your guides and angels will only be able to communicate to you in the place of consciousness where you're receptive. Some people are more clairvoyant and will feel pressure around the ears or ringing in the ears. Some people are more, that's clairaudient, clairvoyant, where they will get flashes of color and light, which means you can learn to see them quicker. Some people are more clairsentient, where they can feel a presence around them. They can feel something's there. And then there's people that just know, I know there's a presence here. And those are your non-physical senses, and you want to develop those. You want to learn to develop your non-physical senses for the express purpose of being able to tap into higher vibrational entities that you can connect with, your divine beings, Master Jesus, Buddha, Lao Tzu, Zarathustra, Archangel Michael, the Pleiadians. There's beings in very high vibrational states, the Lyrans, that you can tap into and begin learning from. Just as we learn from a teacher in this physical dimension, there are non-physical teachers that you can learn from as well, right? And they're here to bring that all to us. Hi, Wei. Thank you for that $15 donation. I really appreciate that. He's asking, my grandpa passed recently. I can feel him in my heart right now. How is he on the other side? He's feeling great joy that you have reached out to him. He can feel you right now, Wei. How does he feel about the passing? Did the diatomaceous dust cause his lungs cancer? Thank you. No, it did not. He's saying it is and will always be our time to go when we go. There is no right or wrong to this, but the love that your grandfather has for you is really intense. My heart's actually racing a little faster, and it makes me want to smile. He's just, I get this real touchy-feely energy from him with you, which again, it's very profound. But what a blessing to have that type of connection with this being. He's saying something about bells. You'll know me by the bells. He's saying you'll know my presence by the bells. I don't know what that means or what bells he might be referring to, but he's saying you'll know his presence with you by the bells. So if that has any value or meaning for you, please let us know. The feedback always helps other people to understand that these other dimensions live and exist. They're real living beings. Just because you lose your physical expression does not mean you lose your being. It's like we got radio signals passing through this room and TV signals passing through this room and cell phone signals, millions of signals passing through. You don't hear any of them because the mechanism of your physical body does not translate those signals. It has to be trained to do that. But if we took a radio set or a TV set and turned it on and tuned it in, we could pull those signals out of the invisible air. So when your person leaves their physical medium of expression, they don't cease to exist. They just don't have the medium to express that through again. But they are still existent. You can become aware of them if you open up your non-physical senses, which are the primary clairs, clairvoyance, clairaudience, clairsentience, claircognizance, which is clear knowing, clear seeing, clear feeling, clear hearing. You can learn to hear. Master Jesus talked about this repeatedly and still does. You must learn to see without your eyes and hear without your ears. I think in the Christian Bible it says, you have eyes but cannot see and ears but cannot hear. And he's really talking about the non-physical senses that you need to learn to train those, open them up. And you can learn to do that. There are lots of courses and classes in the world. We teach a set of courses and classes that shows you how to systematically open up those clairs deliberately, consciously, and intentionally. If you want to know more about that, you can go to my website, williammichaelforbes.com, and get enrolled in the courses which start in September and learn how to do this if you don't already know how to do it, or enhance what you already know how to do. So thank you for that, Wade. Please let us know. Hi, Betsy. Hi, Vanessa. Thank you for that £2. I really appreciate it. Pass pharmacology too, or should I give up? Well, I don't know who this is, but they're coming through. And yeah, they're saying they're saying you hold a great sadness that you must release. You must release that great sadness from within you, it is holding you to the ground. You cannot move forward with your sadness. What happened to your joy? They're asking you that question. What happened to your joy? Can you not live and move forward in your joy? You must release your sadness. Wow. Release your sadness. Again, I don't know what that means or what that's in reference to. Just I know what sadness is from my past experience, but whatever that is for you, is there a way she can release it? I don't know why they're saying this, but they said you need to get into the middle of a room and jump up and down like you've just already passed that exam, that you've already made it through, and do that every day. They say do that every day like you've already passed, you've already made it through, and dance in the middle of your room like you've already achieved the result. They're saying that will give you the energy, that will bring in the energy to produce the result. They're saying the issue of conscience, of whether or not this is the right thing for you to pursue because of how it impacts people's lives, that is another issue, but it should not diminish your freedom to choose any profession you would in this world and to choose it with joy and love. There are great benefits to the use of some of these things that you are studying. And there will be of greater benefits too as the manifestations of natural energies, the natural healing elements and substances that are on this planet become the keynote elements in treating conditions of a physical nature in this dimension. And I'm interpreting that to mean that there are a lot of there's a whole pharmacological system that's going to evolve naturally, where we'll be using the things that nature naturally provides in the proper dosage, and we're going to begin to learn about those differently. And I know that in some pharmacies, a lot of the pharmaceutical systems are based in the actual things that are in nature, but there's natural, healthy ways of doing it without the negative side effects. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. That's a really wonderful question. Thank you so much. I'm just getting a lot. Okay, here we go. Hello, Ovi. Hi, Marigold. Yes, Marigold. If you've listened to guidance regarding emotions, you yes, I get it. They're just saying it's really important that you understand that your emotions are not who you are. Your emotions are energy that you have access to, that you can alter and change that energy through an act of your will and attention, deliberately and intentionally. You need to take the time to entrain your vehicle to be still and quiet, and train it to work with emotions. As to these intense emotions that you've been dealing with and struggling with for these last few years, we would recommend very carefully that you learn to extend your love to them instead of treating them with animosity and frustration, for you merely add to their exacerbation. We recommend that you extend your love to those negative emotional states. Sit quietly, breathe and relax your body and mind. Find those negative emotional places in your physical being and communicate your love and respect and willingness to care about them. For when one aspect of yourself is suffering, does it not make sense to care about it? Does that not make sense to care about that which in you is suffering? And if you learn to care about that within you which is suffering, you will liberate that aspect of yourself from suffering, for it will know that you care about it. For when one feels the vibration of love and care from another, do they not transform and change? Do you not feel better when you are loved and honored and respected? Do this for yourself inwardly. It will prove very useful for you. Thank you. Hi, Heather. Good to see you. Hi, Vanessa. Ask my angels. I am not believing to be possible. I just want someone to tell me if there is any true possibility of me passing. Vanessa, there is always a possibility. But if you are in doubt, or if you are questioning if the possibility is real, then you have already brought forth doubt. If there is another calling, you may choose that. But if you're questioning, you're already nurturing doubt. The minute you start to question it, should I, is this right? You are already nurturing doubt. And if you're going to continue nurturing doubt, then you'll be better to pursue something else that you have no doubt around. Or you learn to master your emotional energy and make a conscious decision. I'm going to do this because I want to do this. I'm looking forward to the excitement, the joy, the knowledge, the experience that this is going to give me. You have to really get aligned to the power of your joy, because joy will help you cross the finish line a lot faster with a lot less heartache than will your uncertainty. Great question still. Wonderful. Any advice from my angels? Let's just see. I got lots of questions here. It's a wonderful day, isn't it? 285 hertz. Yeah, we got 532 2 weeks ago. Somebody mentioned 432. But you can go online and download a tone generator. A tone generator from the App Store for I think Apple and Android have these things called a tone generator. You can download a free version of one, and you can turn the tone generator, start at the lower vibrations and work your way up and feel how the different tones interact with your physiology. Because you can use the benefit to an outside world. The benefit to an outside world is if you get connected to vibrations that lift you up and inspire you and empower you, that's a great thing. But if you're connected to vibrations in the outside world that don't, then it's not a good thing. That's why it's important to learn to control your own emotional energy, to learn to master it, direct its flow deliberately and intentionally. This is so important. This is what they brought us here today for, to get us to understand that as individuals and as a collective, it is our emotional energy that is driving the conditions of our experience here. And there's a consciousness and awareness that is planetary. There's a consciousness and awareness that is solar. There's a consciousness that is galactic. There's a consciousness that is universal. And we are all part of that. We can shift and interact with that awareness at any time. And we do with emotional energy. You're electrically interacting with matter, time, and space all of the time. Anytime you're feeling a certain way, you're affecting energy around you. You're sending out energy, literally. You know, the sound wave, this voice coming out of this body is a vibrational energy that affects time, space, and matter. We know that you can feel this. That's why you're listening. You can feel it in your ears, and you can feel how your system responds and reacts to the frequencies and vibrations that we communicate to you. So please know that the emotions you choose to hang on to are what you are directing and manifesting in the world. And the tighter you hold on them, the stronger you make them. So hold on to your joy, hold on to your love, hold on to possibility, hold on to excitement, hold on to playfulness, and communicate that in your own heart. Let that energy radiate out from you like a light. That's what will happen. It radiates out from us all. And when they're saying all, they mean all beings radiate this energy. And when you're at a certain frequency, you don't hear other frequencies, right? That's why we say raise your vibration. The lower vibrational states of fear, anger, guilt, shame, self-doubt, those energies align to lower vibrational consciousness. You want to be able to raise your vibration up, learning how to ground your body electrically, go out in nature. A lot of people are disconnected electrically from the earth. They're in concrete cities all the time. They rarely get a chance to walk on soil. And we're talking a lot of people. You need to connect electrically to the earth. Your body and the earth need to be unified. They need to feel that coherence together. It's kind of like a mother and a child need to actually be. You watch children; they always come to their mother and they want to be close to them. Don't we always want to go and connect to people we care about? Because there's an electrical interaction that happens, and that we have that relationship with the earth. We have that relationship with the moon. We have that relationship with the sun. Like we have an electrical relationship that's ongoing, consciously and unconsciously, and we can affect and alter that relationship by how we feel, and we do it all the time. Whether we're aware or not is another thing. Wonderful. Thank you so much for that. That's wonderful. The video still reads mass meditation. Let me see here. That's funny. Well, it says all changes saved successfully, so it should. So I will correct it after the video is loaded up, Bo. But the subject matter today is organizing your world with energy, and energy is emotion. You know, we call energy sunlight, and that is a form of energy. We call gasoline a form of energy. We call firewood a form of energy. We call water a form of energy. Everything is energy. But for the context today, we're referring to emotional energy that you can organize and are organizing your experiences on a moment-to-moment basis with the emotions you most dominantly feel, consciously or unconsciously, on a day-to-day basis. Wow, that's really cool. Oh, you're welcome, Louise. Thank you so much for sharing your feedback on that. Yes, do not push, Heather. You're absolutely right. There's no push. You can get excited and let that excitement radiate out. You don't have to make it happen. Just being in the state, you're doing it. Like I said, the freezer doesn't have to work to freeze the water, and the water doesn't have to work to get frozen. It's an allowing process. But as a conscious individual, you can amplify or de-amplify. You can expand or contract certain emotional fields and manifest changes. The stronger an emotion is felt, the more pronounced and the shorter the time frame for a manifestation of conditions in your life, whether that's positive or negative. The stronger the intensity of an emotion, the sooner it organizes matter, time, and space into the conditions. That's why you can go to, if you've ever gone to a bar and you've ever watched a couple of guys, going toe to toe and yeah, oh yeah, yeah, and they end up in a fist fight, and they're constantly feeding back on the same energy. Well, the same thing is true for peace. I love you, man. Whichever vibration has the highest amplitude and strength to it produces the result that you see in the world around you, whether it's good or bad. Wow. Hi, Harriet. Wonderful. Hello from the UK. Let's see. Wonderful. I'm glad you enjoyed it. I want to thank everybody who showed up for the meditation yesterday. That was my first time being asked to do something like that, and the first time that they came through me for that purpose. My guardian angel, John, is just an amazing being, and we all have guardian angels. John was the first time he ever came to me. I was 20 years old, and I wasn't aware that it was him. I was just aware that a voice had told me, don't jump, get off the bridge, go to the payphone, call this number, ask for this man, he'll help you. That's all I remember. But I didn't put it together at that time. I was just so emotionally distraught then. But we all have guardian angels. We all have ascended masters that we can tap into when we allow our frequency to rise up enough to tap into them. And a vibration of love will tap you into beings that are at that frequency. As a vibration of fear will let you tap into beings at that frequency. We get to choose. It's a free will zone. You tell me that repeatedly. It's a free will zone. Let's see. Hi, Betsy. Hi, Marigold. The answer to Vanessa's question is very helpful to me. You're welcome, Marigold. Again, Heather's asking, what about lucid dreams? Can you explain the meaning of them when they come in color, and if circumstances can induce them and give relief or warning? Let me ask them, lucid dreaming. They're saying in your case, you are dancing through the different realms that are available to you. If you are understanding what we are saying about organizing your experiences through the use of emotion, then this does not have to be a random process for you. This can be a very deliberate process for you. You are the dream and you are the dreamer. If you choose to assert your deliberate intention as an emotional energy over the outcome you wish to experience, you will find yourself quite impressed with your creative potential, which you have been working with for many, many years. It is time now to become more deliberate about that. It is not something that's being acted upon you, but something which you are acting upon. So we would recommend that you become more conscious in the process of utilizing your emotional energy in the energy of those states. Colors can also reflect and represent specific emotional states that you will find yourself playing through in time and space and in nonlinear awareness. We hope this helps you. Great question, Heather. Thank you. I've never considered that. Wonderful. Wow. Just, I think, let's see. Tricia. So I'm just centering myself. And when they come through, my energy goes way, way up. That's great, Tina. So Tina says she's used a tone generator. So it's really learn to use a tone generator. Like it can be really handy. It's an external mechanism, but it can help you become aware of an internal process. Remember, all the external world can do is remind you about what's in there, and you want to become aware of what's in there unconsciously and change it. You don't want it to be stuff running on unconsciously that you have no control or power over. Let's see how we're doing time-wise here. 12:11. Holy, unbelievable! I missed the meditation. I have to go into that. So we're going to do a short meditation now because it's never too late to do anything. That's the thing about when you start aligning and you start channeling, you start bringing information through, you get lost in this energy and it just flows and you flow with it. It's an amazing, amazing experience. So what we're going to do is we're going to do a short meditation. We do this in we have a group called 1 Billion Strong on Facebook. And what we do in that group is we recommend that you take the times of 12 a.m. and 12 p.m. every day, and you move yourself into a state of what you call love as you understand it to be. And you allow yourself to feel that feeling and use your breath to expand and intensify that feeling in your body. And then take that feeling and expand it out around the earth. And then take that feeling of love and then literally let that energy permeate every single molecule contained within the space of the earth. And you can do that for about 60 seconds. You can do it longer if you like, but we recommend at least a minute at 12 a.m. and 12 p.m. I do it multiple times throughout the day. And the more you do it, the better you raise your energy up and the more you actually alter and affect the human collective unconsciousness, as well as improving your electrical relationship with the energy of this planet and all that it contains. And the meditation is very short and simple. So what we're going to have you do is we're going to have you take a slow, deep breath and just center yourself into the present moment. So just take a slow, deep breath and bring yourself into the present moment. And as you exhale, just let your body relax. And then take one more slow, deep breath. And release that as well. And take a moment to consider a vibration or feeling of love. What is the feeling of love for you as you understand it to be at this time? Just call forth that feeling of love. And as you feel that feeling, breathe deeply and expand that feeling to fill your body and the space around your body. And as you exhale, expand that feeling of love as you understand it to be for you to surround the world. And then breathe deeply again. And as you breathe in, allow that vibration of love to penetrate and permeate the entire planet and all that it contains as you inhale. Allow that energy to go right to the core of the earth. And as you exhale, intensify that vibration throughout all points of every molecule contained within the planet. And just feel that vibration that you're feeling right now. This is a vibration of love that you've amplified and intensified deliberately at this time. Now breathe deeply and amplify that feeling of love in your body and in the space contained within the world and all the molecules contained within the world. As you exhale, allow every single molecule of living organs, people, plants, animals, birds, water, trees, allow everything to feel this vibration as you exhale. And when you inhale, amplify it one more time. Very gently bring your awareness back to the present moment. Just allow yourself to feel the effects of that energy for those of you that did that. Just feel that vibration. This is what we speak of when we say that you can deliberately alter and change the energy of your world simply by giving attention to an idea, an emotion, a feeling, a sensation, and then using your divine authority over your body to breathe it in very specific and precise ways, to call forth a specific energy that you wish to intensify and increase. And you can do this with any emotional energy. And please share the experiences you've had with this little short process. Yes, and my guardian angel John says we picked 12 a.m. and 12 p.m. as a marginal that people can choose. He said the reason for choosing those two opposite times is that everywhere, somewhere on the planet, it hits that time. 12 a.m. or 12 p.m. is happening in certain times everywhere. And as you do that radiant energy, you create a cycle, a movement of energy around the planet if people are doing it at those specific times. But he says it's not limited to or restricted to that time, but that was designed for those that were diligent enough to follow that procedure. They would actually, it's like getting a jump starting a car. He said that's the best example for it. It's like jump starting a car. You're pushing until it starts. You push, and then the car will suddenly kick into motion. And love will do that. The vibration of love was like that. So thank you for everybody who just participated in that with us. Hi, Prem. Hi, and I'm just going to scroll up. I'm just going to scroll up here. I just want to see if I missed something. Okay. I think we're good. Andy's asking me, how did I hear my angel when you're at such a low vibration at the time? My guardian, I just heard him. It was literally, I thought it was a voice of somebody in a body talking to me. Because when I heard the voice, I literally stopped on the ledge of the bridge and I'm looking around. I didn't see anybody. But I didn't put it together then. I just got down off the bridge. I was desperate. Like I'm standing on a 113-foot bridge looking down on the Don Valley Parkway here in Toronto. I was desperate. So I just followed what the voice said. I figured if it was lying to me, I could come back and jump. And I went over to the payphone and called that number. And I still remember that phone number today. And asked for the man that it told me to ask for. And that changed the course of my life. When I mentioned to that man that a voice had told me I had not to jump off the bridge and to call him, he laughed at me and I felt really embarrassed. So I never thought of it. I just pushed it away at that point in time. But I can certainly now track back to hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of instances. But the question you're asking is how? I heard it like it was a physical voice. I didn't recognize it as a non-physical being at the time, although I could not see anybody. I didn't put it together. I was just not in the state of mind to reason or think. In fact, until a few months later, I did not even know. At age 20, I did not know I could choose my own thoughts. I was thinking all the thoughts that had been given to me by my mom and my stepfather and my father and my teachers. And I was basically living as a composite of their judgment, right? Until you seize control of your own mind, the world will run you. So I hope that addresses your concern. Patricia, I felt as if I had taken a yoga class with a master teacher all night last night. Amazing sense. Well, that's wonderful. There's so much more of that coming. Like there are so many beings converging on this planet. There's so many sentient beings, so many different angels, archangels, guides, multidimensional beings that recognize that we are part of them and that what we feel they can sense too. And they're here to transmute this energy that they no longer wish to experience as a part of themselves. So it's not something they're doing to us. It's something they're doing with us. It's not something that we're separate from. Prem, often during my sleep, I'm being taught like a conversation. I get that it's your higher self, Prem, and you want to ask it questions. They're saying you want to ask. Okay. It's presenting itself to me as a male right now, saying he wants you to ask him questions. When you are aware of him, he wants you to ask him questions. It is your higher self. It's interesting that your higher self is a male. Yes, asking questions when you recognize that. Remember, he's saying before you go to sleep, you can remember to decide to ask questions before you go to sleep. Remember to decide to ask questions before you go to sleep. Cool. Um, yes, absolutely. The singing bowls would do that, Marigold. Um, yes, wonderful. Look at all this wonderful work, all these people here. Whew. Wow. Well, we are at the 12:21 mark, which is mirrors 1, 2, 2, 1, which are mirrors. I'm going to take one more question, and then we're going to close off this Supernatural Saturday. And I want to thank everybody for your support, your questions. Anytime you ask a question, when we get the opportunity to answer it, it's going to not just be for you; it's for all of us. Your question is the offering of wisdom to all of us. That's what a question really is. It's the offering of wisdom to everybody. So please, um, when you come live with us, please share your questions, any questions, because somebody else needs to know the answer. And again, thank you for all of the people that offered donations up today. I really appreciate that. The super chats. I hope I got to all of you. Um, if you want to know more about our courses and classes, you can go to my website, williammichaelforbes.com, and you can register for our course and class there. You can also see exactly what's happening. They won't start until September the 5th. And yeah, that's going to be really cool. We love the course and class. We're just finishing our last 103 from the winter season of classes. And then we're going to take some time off and focus on the work they've asked us to do through YouTube and other social media and other media outlets that we're focusing on. Also, we recommend this water. Just under this hour, I can already feel dehydration taking place. Whenever you're working with your guides and angels or higher frequency beings, really important to make sure you're drinking water and stay hydrated, because your brain, when you're working with different energy, it's not based in the five physical senses. Your brain processes electrical energy differently because you're bringing higher frequencies. So you need to stay hydrated more because the brain uses more energy when it taps into higher frequencies. And I know that from personal experience, but you want to discover for yourself. Oh, you're welcome, Lauren. I'm really grateful that you gained benefit and insight. That's what the whole purpose of this is. They are here to offer us all the truth and the light, to liberate ourselves from what we are not, to being that which we are. Not just ourselves, but all of humanity. Like, there are beings that know that you and I are one. There are beings that understand that I cannot ignore your suffering and expect to be happy, for that is an aspect of me. So learning how to resolve my suffering is to also resolve your suffering. So whenever you heal something in yourself, you're affecting this whole human collective simultaneously, even if you're not aware of it. Even if your mind can't wrap your mind around that, know that if you're feeling better and you're walking down the street and you're feeling good about yourself, you're going to radiate that energy out. They've already proven your body radiates an electrical field, and that electrical field will overlap with other people's electrical fields, and it causes a movement of information from one person to another. So go out and radiate love, because you're going to transmit that to everybody you come in contact with. Even if you're not doing it overtly, if you're just feeling it and walking down the street and feeling the vibe, they'll feel it. So thank you, everybody, for showing up. I really appreciate it. I will see you next Saturday on Supernatural Saturday, and I will see you on Monday for Shortcuts for Your Soul. I'm really excited about this week. I don't know why, but they keep telling me there's a lot of really fun things coming up. So again, thank you so much for your time, your energy, your focus, your patience, and your love. Have a wonderful and a joyful day, everybody. Bye for now. Where are we here? There we go.